Hammond, the Science Outreach Manager and the Life Science Educator here at the Children's Museum Houston. I am inside the Inventors Workshop, here to show you a really fun activity, an aerodynamics activity brought to you by the Samuels Foundation. So let's thank them for allowing me to do this. And let's get right into this activity. What we're going to do today is make a rubber band helicopter. Now, you probably don't see the rubber band right here, but you can see it back here. And that rubber band right there is going to power this helicopter. Now, to make this helicopter is really easy. Just go to our website and print out this helicopter template. Or be creative and draw one of your own. Helicopters aren't too hard to draw. But you want it to be kind of big, so don't worry about making it too small. You do want it to be a little bit big. Also, when you print it or when you draw it on your own, do it on a piece of cardstock. The thicker the paper, the better. Cardboard, though, might be a little bit too thick. So cardstock's a good happy medium between regular paper and cardboard. All right, so you're gonna print that out, then you're gonna grab a pair of scissors and you're gonna cut it out. So you're gonna have something like this, okay? Then you wanna grab yourself a paper clip. Now, once you grab this paper clip, go ahead and bend it into an L shape and put it aside after that for a moment. Get yourself some masking tape and a thick rubber band, and you are going to need a propeller. Now, you might think, where am I going to get a propeller from? Craft shops. You can find these all over the place. Sometimes I've even seen these at big major stores, so don't worry about it. They're online. You can get them, and usually they come in packs of 10, so you'll have plenty to use. And you're gonna wanna get a popsicle stick, a small one, okay? Because you need to fit that inside the propeller so that it stays on. All right, so you got all that stuff together, then you just have to assemble your rubber band helicopter. So you can see I have my template right here. I put my propeller on the top. I put the L-shaped rubber band on the bottom here with this piece sticking out. I taped the body, the template here, to the craft stick in the middle. You want to make sure your propeller doesn't hit the back, okay? Doesn't hit the back, because if you hit the tail here, you're going to have some problems, okay? And then you just want to stretch a rubber band from the little hook on the top of the propeller down to the hook on the paper clip here. And you're done. Now, to make it fly is a whole lot of fun. You just want to go ahead, take the propeller, and start to spin it. And you can see that the rubber band is starting to wind together. Now you're going to spin this quite a bit. You see these big knots happening right now? I'm going to go pretty slow so you can see these bigger knots happening. You want the whole rubber band to have these big knots all the way down to the bottom. So you're probably going to spin this 60, 70 times. And you can actually feel the tension being created as you spin it. Remember, rubber bands are elastic. That means they can change their shape and then go back to their regular shape. Now, once you have it all wound up, just hold on to it for a second and then let it go. And you can see that it flew away, okay? So it's pretty cool. And what's really great about it is you can do it over and over and over again because, again, that rubber band is elastic. Now, what is the science behind this activity? That's pretty simple. When anything flies, 4 different forces have to be in balance. Those forces are lift, gravity, drag, and thrust. Now, not everything has thrust, but when you do have thrust, it has to be in balance with the other 3. Let me explain each one pretty quickly. Lift has a lot to do with the Bernoulli's principle. The reason why flying machines often have wings is because of the shape of the wing allows the Bernoulli principle to occur. And what that means is, as the speed of a fluid increases, the pressure drops. All around us is a large fluid called the atmosphere. It's made of nitrogen and oxygen and other gases. Gases are fluids. So to have lift occur, the wing will force the air around it to have a faster speed on the top, so the pressure lessens. That means the slower moving air on the bottom causes the pressure increase, which causes it to lift up. What it's basically doing is opposing the force of gravity. Now eventually, everything stops. Nothing is in perpetual motion, and that's when gravity takes over. Gravity is the force when something is in the air, bringing it back down to the center of the earth. Everything on the earth is drawn to the center of the earth. So when you either have the lift effect start to be opposed by the gravity effect, or a thrust, which keeps something moving forward, starts to slow down, gravity takes over and you start to go back to the earth. Now, it would be really bad if you went back to the earth quickly. You would crash, okay? So in order to lessen the blow, especially when you have thrust, there is drag. Drag is opposing thrust by slowing something down. So when you're in a glider which has no thrust and you're moving around, drag will enable you to come to the earth slowly and safely. It's not a bad thing at all. When you have thrust, you let down your thrust to allow drag to take over so that you come slowly to the ground and you don't crash. Now the helicopter, what was happening? That propeller was spinning really fast, which means the air above started moving really, really quickly, which means its pressure dropped, which means that underneath the propellers, you had lift. It started to push it up because the pressure was higher beneath the propeller. But what's really cool about helicopters is they can start to move their propellers in a way that it equals the pressure on the top and on the bottom, so they hover. They just stay in one spot. Now, the propellers also act as a thrusting action. You have another rotor in the back, that's also a propeller. And that rotor in the back can help you move the helicopter around. So you can turn right and you can turn left, you can move forward. Can't really move back too easily, but you can. And that's what keeps the helicopter not just going from up and down, but moving around the city, let's say. So all of those principles are acting together to create the helicopter's flight. And that is essentially aerodynamics. And you can also talk about like Newton's laws of motion, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and the first law saying, inertia, something moving will always move until acted upon by an outside force, or something in rest will always rest until acted upon by an outside force. But it's the four principles of flight that are really, really important here. I really hope you enjoyed that activity. It's a lot of fun. If you were outside, sometimes the wind will grab your helicopter and really move it along. Okay, wind can have a thrusting effect. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We have lots and lots of videos to share with you. We have Mr. O's Oh Wow moments. We have songs and story times and a lot more science for you to explore. One thing I'd really like you to do is, if you're making a helicopter, show it to us. Go ahead and go on our social media. We have Facebook and we have Twitter and we have Instagram. Take a picture of your flying machine. Take a video of it flying. Post it on our wall and we'll love to watch it. That's one of the main reasons we're doing this. We want you to do it. With that, I am going to say my farewells now. Once again, I am Jason Hammond. I am in the Inventors Workshop at the Children's Museum of Houston. I hope you have a great day and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.